Good evening. It's Monday this week instead of Wednesday. Tonight I'm going to be doing a delicata squash. I don't know if you've ever seen what they look like. This is what they look like. They're a wonderful squash. And you can eat the skin too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roast this. I do this all the time with the squash and it's so good. So you're going to cut both the ends off. And then you're going to split it down the middle. Use a big enough knife so you don't hurt yourself. And then you're gonna take all the seeds out. I put those into a little bowl because I don't really like to eat the seeds. So you're gonna scrape all this out. It doesn't take that long, it's like one swipe. If you get one seed, you just pick it out, it's no big deal. All right, that's the first half, and the second half I'm gonna do the same thing with. It does come out very nicely. You only get these usually in the winter time. You don't usually get them in the spring. Unless you're lucky, because this is like my favorite squash there is. We tried growing them, but we had a worm get into them and rip the whole plant out. So we're going to try growing them again this year because they're so good. Okay, so then you're going to take your knife and you're going to cut little moon-shaped pieces. Let me get that last seed out of there. A little stinker got in there. So you're going to take moon-shaped pieces and then you're going to put them into a dish so you can roast them. So I'm going to finish this and I'll be back in a second. Okay, they're in my dish. I'm going to put probably about, maybe about 2 tablespoons of oil. And then I'm going to mix that with my hands so they get all full of oil. If you have a spritzer bottle, you can spritz them too. I have one that I use for my air fryer that I use. But you don't get the oil anyway, because this makes it, this makes it so crispy and so delicious. It's amazing. Let me just wash the oil off my hands and then we'll put the salt and pepper on. So then we're just gonna put probably about a teaspoon of salt and then a bunch of fresh ground black pepper. Some people like to put cinnamon in there and things like that. I just like it natural, like with the salt and pepper. So then you're gonna give it another swirl so everything gets salted and peppered. And then you're going to put it into a 350-degree oven and you're going to bake it for 1 hour. So 350 for 1 hour. Okay, with the delicata squash tonight, I'm making cod. I've got 2 pieces of cod which I patted dry. I'm going to put some salt on both sides, just a little bit, and pepper. On my stove, I've got a pan with 2 tablespoons of butter. And I'm going to put the fish into that with a little bit of, I'm going to have to use this because I touched it with my hand. A little bit of thyme. I usually use fresh thyme, but my thyme isn't doing that well right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the pan. And I'm going to put the fish down right into the pan with the top. The butter, you can hear it actually sizzle in there. And then I'm going to add a little bit of thyme, because I like the taste of thyme in fish. So I'll just put it around it. Usually I'll put a couple sprigs. If you have sprigs, use them. So this is going to cook about 3 to 4 minutes on each side, depending on the thickness. This one's about 3 to 4 minutes per side. Okay, as you can see, I took the delicata squash out. It's nice and browned and cooked. And then I have our codfish. I'm just going to place that on the dish, and that'll be our supper. It's an easy recipe, so I didn't bother writing it out for you. I think you can follow the instructions. I'll see you next week. Have a good week.